3 methods to expand your Airbnb short-term rental to a new market. Where is the best location in the United States to open an Airbnb short-term rental? And where can I find the locations that deliver the highest revenue? And last, how do I know if the Airbnb market is seasonal for the best occupancy rates? I'm about to share with you my 3 methods on how I find the best Airbnb short-term rental markets that are out there to avoid low seasons and get the highest revenue for the year. Remember, this is the channel that provides you an all-access pass to everything cash flow, capital, and credit by ensuring you have the right financial literacies for business success. Stop saying I'm in a side hustle and start saying I'm open for business. Let's dive in. Did you know that the majority of all Airbnb guests only want to stay at your location for 2 nights? Did you know that they only want to travel and drive a maximum of 2 to 3 hours to get to your place? And when they get there, they don't want to stay and spend all their time indoors inside of your location. No, they want to experience the destination. I'm about to share with you my 3 methods on how I find the best Airbnb short-term rental markets that are out there. Take it from me, I'm an experienced host, Edward Bilder. I'm a real estate investor, entrepreneur, coach, educator, engineer, and a father of 4. And I'm about to share with you my 3 methods on how I find the best Airbnb short-term rentals that are out there. To find the best markets, it all comes down to 4 P's. The letter P is all it takes, 4 times, all right? People, places, path equals position on the map. People as in high volume of customers, places meaning attractions to an area, and a path for them to get to you, a mode of transportation to find that direct position on the map where the hot zone is, where the best locations are that deliver the highest revenue and avoid seasonality. I'm going to dive into this deeper for you, starting with people. Because when I start my expansion, I always start by asking myself, where are all of the people, right? Where are all of my customers? And once I understand what my target customer is, because remember, I know exactly what my customers want. They only want to stay 2 nights, and they only want to drive approximately 2 to 3 hours. And when they get to the location, they want to be able to do outdoor activities, because in most cases, my customers, where the most people are coming from dense areas. And what do we know about dense areas? Dense areas are usually where the cities are. So step 1 of finding all the people is simply by looking at a map of your state, okay? Or possibly a neighboring state, right? What you're looking for are 3 major populations or 3 major cities that are in your area. For example, I live in Pennsylvania, so Scranton, Philadelphia, and in this case, New York City would be my neighboring state, 2 states away, but it's my neighboring state where the other 3rd city is. Basically, what I do is I open up a map and I draw a big circle connecting those 3 cities, and inside of that circle is where you're going to find that hot zone. Okay, everybody, let's jump over to my computer because I want to give everybody a demonstration on how I go about finding the hottest zones out there by using those 3 P's to find my 4th P, which is a position on the map, right? And anywhere where I click on here is a position on a map. I'm currently inside of Google Maps. It's usually one of the best ways of doing this. You could do this on your phone too if you really had to. But let's just take, for example, we're trying to find ourselves a big circle, as you recall, right? Because we're looking for volume of people, and volume of people is located near the cities, right? So here we see we have Columbus, Cincinnati, Lexington. When you zoom out on the map, it's very easy to see these big cities, right? Pittsburgh would be one of them. This is actually State College right here in the middle. We could come over here. We can see Washington, Philadelphia, New York, right? Let's go up into upstate New York here. Let's zoom in on this. This looks like a good area right here. We have Buffalo, New York, Rochester, Syracuse, Albany, Binghamton. We even have Scranton down here.
So this looks like a good circle to demonstrate, right? Because right in here, I'm drawing a circle around this area of Syracuse, Rochester, and Binghamton, and Ithaca, and we see there's a series of lakes in between there, right? Because P number 2 is places, right? We need something for our guests to want to do during all seasons, right? We want to have ski resorts, lakes, activities for them to do outside. So let's take a zoom in on this, all right? Okay, so we see we have some lakes in this area.
Now, simply drawing a circle is not good enough. We still need to find the hot zone that is within that circle, all right? So remember, the second P is places. And when I say places, I'm actually talking about attractions within the area. When we say places, we're talking about things like lakes, national parks, maybe trails, historical landmarks, beaches, and possibly ski resorts, right? For that seasonality. Now, if you're in an area where you have ski resorts, that will certainly open up the opportunity for you to have a higher occupancy rate in the winter months. And if you're in areas like, say, Phoenix, Arizona, you're going to have lower occupancy rates in the summer months, right? See how those things are opposite? So, finding places in Arizona with things to do in the summer months are very important. So, when you're drawing that circle on the map, it's more than likely going to be trails, national parks, and historical landmarks that draw you to those areas in the summer. In the winter months, in areas in the Northeast, it's going to definitely be the ski resorts. So within that circle, put an X on all the ski resorts that you found on your map. We're going to dive straight into a Google map and show you a real example of how to find one of these locations.
So I'm going to zoom in here. And remember, I start by looking at the places that are closest to the lakes. And so I see we got Seneca Falls, we got Lansing down here, Watkins Glens. I actually know Watkins Glen. That's a beautiful waterfall in that area. We have Auburn, Skaneateles, and these are all fairly close to Syracuse. So let's say that this is probably about a 30-minute drive if you want to go from Syracuse to Skaneateles. And Rochester, that's about an hour drive. And over here is actually Albany. So you can actually go from Albany into these lake areas in about 2 hours time. Okay, so that's all fitting so far the criteria of what we're looking for. Now let's see if we could find ski resorts in this area, because that's going to indicate if we are open for the winter. Here we go. There's a ski resort, Song Mountain. I'm gonna go right here. There's definitely a ski area right in here. Okay, and so this right here, I don't know how to pronounce that, but I think it's Otisco Lake and Skaneateles Lake, and us pronounce that one is tough. Owasco Lake. Yeah, I probably should have practiced these names beforehand, but I'm gonna say that this right here is a hot zone. Okay.
Wow, I'm revealing all of my biggest secrets in this video. Remember to hit the like button and become a subscriber to join us for future videos and future content. Hit that bell notification if you want to be notified every time I come out with a new video. And if you want me to go into more depth on anything in this video, leave a comment down below. Remember, the fastest way to growing wealth is to bring others along with you, so share this video with all of your friends and family. Let's get back to the video. Okay, the third P is a very important P, and this is path. Remember, this is a mode of transportation to get to your destination, to get to your location, all right? So an airport and a train station can be a mode of transportation as long as there's rental car service or Uber service in the area, right? But in this case, when I'm talking about a path, the most important path that we should never forget are your major highways. This is a big factor in looking for those hot zones, because the further you venture away from a major highway, the more complicated it becomes for your guest, and it results in a less desirable market. Remember, guests only want to drive 2 to 3 hours to get to your location. They want to take a major highway to get there, and they do not want to get lost in their path, because when they spend those 2 to 3 hours in a car, they don't want it to turn into 5 or 6 hours by being lost and having to go off of the highway, right? Because They just wasted a day on their 2-day trip that they wanted to stay with you, all right? Not to mention that this creates so much difficulty when you're trying to find cleaning services and internet services, and most importantly, setting up your property is not easy the further you get off that highway, because furniture delivery becomes very expensive and very complex, all right? So we'll save that for a whole other video, but when you're on the map, try and find major highways that are closest to the ski resorts and all of those destinations that you just put an X on. All of those places that you just found, find the highway that's closest to a cluster of them, and your hot zone will be very near that cluster, more than likely closest to the ski resort or closest to the lake where they could have pleasant views while they're staying with you.
We're going to find the best zone in this circle. All right. And this yellow circle is now our path. That is our third P. And remember, we want to be able to get to a location within 2 to 3 hours. When you get better at this, when you're first starting out, you can actually start to, circle little areas on this map, and, look up how long it takes to go from one destination to your final destination. But I've gotten a little better at this. So, anywhere from here along the highway to Syracuse, this looks like it's about a 2-hour drive. Syracuse down to Binghamton looks like it could be about a maybe hour and a half drive. This is a bit of a longer drive, like Buffalo down to Binghamton. That would be about a 3.5-hour drive. Rochester would be a shorter drive. That'd be about an hour to Syracuse. So I'm seeing some heavy populated areas: Buffalo, Rochester, and Syracuse. You notice the whiteness in that area. That kind of demonstrates there's a lot of concrete in that area. And then here, Cortland, you have a lot of concrete. Ithaca, there's a lot of concrete. Binghamton. So these are really dense areas filled with people, right? We need people, we need places, and we need a path. And so right in this area here, you see a lot of extra yellow.
So by combining these 3 P's, people, places, and path, you will find the ideal position on a map to open your next Airbnb short-term rental. We will dive into my computer to show you how it has the best returns.
And I'm going to say that this is a hot zone more so than over here and over here, primarily because you're coming further in a you're coming further away from the highway. And if you had to get down to the bottom of these lakes, you're coming off the highway pretty far, right? If you had to get into the middle here. Let me see here one more thing, because I know there's some wine country up here. So let's check wineries in these areas. All right, excellent. So there's wineries all through here, which would be accessible if you went from Auburn and if you wanted to drive down into here. Now, a winery is more like a day trip. So you're not going to be spending a ton of time there. Skiing is more of a 2-day trip. You'd spend 2 days skiing. Definitely would spend every day at a lake. You could fill up an entire week just going to the lake and boating and doing all kinds of activities like that. So I'm going to say that right here in this circle is our hot zone. So how do we verify if this is our hot zone? Okay, so I start by writing down some names of these locations. I'm going to write down Auburn. I'm going to write down Skaneateles. I'm going to write down Seneca Falls. And I'm going to go over now to AirDNA. I'm going to look up these areas, okay? Now, I just opened up AirDNA. This is a free program that you could just access. There is a free section that gives you enough details before you have to go paying for a subscription. You could find out enough information to know if that area is a hot zone or is not a hot zone. So I opened up AirDNA and I typed in Skaneateles. It was the first one on my list here. And it actually produced great results right off the bat. If you recall, we're always looking for properties that have an average daily rate of 200 or greater. You see that in August months, this spikes up to $500. And then in January, it's $332 on what seems to be an average of a 3-bedroom to 4-bedroom location. All right. And there's actually not a lot of them. There's only 17 rentals that are 4 bedrooms, and there are 17 rentals that are 3 bedrooms. Also fits that criteria where I say find a place that has fewer than 100 other short-term rentals in the area. Now you take a look here. Occupancy rate for this area comes in at 84%. That is also pretty great. 100% booked in the summer. And in the winter months when you're skiing, it drops down to 45%. Now, I've seen areas that actually drop down to 10% in January and February. And these are on lakes. These are in areas of, say, like Tennessee dropped down significantly because there's less activities to do there. But here is a great indication of doing well. Anything that's profitable is anything that's over like $3,000 to $3,500 a month. We're seeing here that there is an average revenue of about $6,000. It's $5,969, which is fantastic. It peaks at $8,419 in the summer, and then in the winter months, $2,580. So this is definitely an area that you want to be looking at. Now, what's also great about this tool is you can just see, you can just hover over Auburn, which is next to it. That's the next area over. And I'm going to guess, before I even click on it, I'm going to guess that the rates probably drop a little bit. Seeing as there's such a hot zone next to it, they're probably going to drop just significantly a little bit because you're getting further away from the destination, right? Now you got to drive farther. So there's going to be fewer people. Yep, here we go. So there's going to be fewer people that want to travel to that area. Here you see $300, $301. Not bad, right? It comes up with a $3,480, has a peak season in June at $6,158, drops down to $1,069. So I would actually imagine that the cost of a rental property would be less here as well. So it does still leave you some meat on the bone here if you're looking to do arbitraging as a possibility. All right, let's take a look at Seneca Falls. We're going to pop over here to Seneca Falls. There is a national wildlife reserve in this area. If I could recall correctly, I drove through here before. It's fields of like wheat. Let me just click here. Okay, that's pretty good. It's pretty good. So it comes up with a 70% occupancy. So the occupancy drops. You're getting farther away from the ski areas, right? So you see that the occupancy is dropping here. $337 for your average nightly, which indicates that there's some bigger properties here. So these are 2-bedroom to 3-bedroom properties, and roughly $4,000 in earnings for the month. All right, so I hope that helps by taking you into an actual tool that you could find hot zones. And before you get into that tool, you could explore in your own state by just looking at where the highways overlap and how they connect to all of the cities. Highways always connect to cities. So look at 3 cities that are close by that have a really heavy population for your state. Draw a big circle, look inside that circle, see if you can find some lakes that might be in those areas, then look for some winter attractions that are in those areas, and then go over to AirDNA after you wrote down some names. Go over to AirDNA, pick the ones that are closest to the highways, and enter that information into AirDNA and see what results you get. I could almost guarantee you that you'll find success in those areas by taking these steps and process. Check it out. Let me know in the comments what you discovered.
And remember, if you are starting an Airbnb business for the first time and you need my help, go to the description and join my email list. It's free to do. Just enter your email and hit subscribe. You'll get a notification telling you that you've signed up. I always send out free downloads and free templates of things that I'm doing currently with my B&Bs to help you in your business. And remember, I do still have, for a very limited time, a crash course available that helps you start an Airbnb business. I am merging that crash course with my master course and will no longer be offering it. So it will only be offered for a limited time. You could find that in the description right now. It helps you get into the Airbnb business with a $50 bill and learn to cash flow in 3 business days through Airbnb, earning an extra $5,000 to $10,000 each and every month. So grab that crash course before I merge it to my master course, and it will no longer be offered at such a great price and great value. And if you want to set up a one-on-one coaching session with me, you could also find me in the description. I hope you all take these actions. I will catch you all on the next one. Bye for now.